Hello, Gloria. I am so happy that you were able to take time out of your busy schedule and join me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah, for having me, and I'm truly honored.
So we just met on Instagram. We were both taking the Kat Colroy Instagram makeover course, and we just started chatting. And you knew what I was doing as far as pelvic health, and made some comment about how you wish that you would have known about this type of thing back when you had your children. So I just wanted to ask you kind of your story. Tell us about your story with your children and how it has kind of unfolded for you.
Okay. My story is such, with pregnancy, I think it never agreed with me because I had 5 miscarriages. Then I had one pregnancy that put me in hospital for 8.5 months. And I was coming up to 40 when I had that baby. It was like everything was coming to an end. I had a eclampsia, one in a million, that after the cesarean section, that your blood pressure hits the roof and you fight for your life. And I remember not seeing that baby for about 6 weeks.
Oh my
Then
goodness.
fast forward, I thought, well, I've kind of had one baby, thank you, Jesus, Then I got pregnant again. And whilst all that was going on, I had 3 stepchildren that I was raising. So it was a very traumatic period because I was always in hospital. And my final pregnancy was in 2000, 1999, 2000, when the 20 weeks, which was January 8, 2000, my pelvis collapsed. I didn't know what it was. And I was screaming in pain and hallucinating, and they took me to the hospital only to realize that there was something wrong. Nobody knew what it was. And after 2 weeks in hospital, I was then sent back home with wheelchair. And you know what? And I kind of thought, wow, is this it? 5 months pregnant in a wheelchair and in pain. So being pregnant, no administration of medication all throughout the pregnancy. The most I could take was paracetamol. And I remember all the time hallucinating in pain.
Mm.
Then eventually I had a cesarean section. The baby came out, and I was being told, well, within 6 weeks, you'll come back to normal. 6 weeks came, nothing happened. I was still in pain, and I had to go for some radiotherapy to find out whether there were other things that were wrong. And nothing, they couldn't find it, and nobody actually knew what was going on. They had no idea in England. I was in England, actually. And then I was on morphine for a while. I was on all the, prescriptive drugs. Then I went into depression, and it was too much. But I think one day I was watching TV, and there was something that resonated with the program. And it was the first time I heard about symphysis pubis dysfunction. That was when the light bulb moment came, and I started looking into it. But prior to this, I'd become a disabled person. And it took me a 4-year period to get myself walking again, because I had gone through osteopaths, physical therapy, Alexander technique. I was in a wheelchair for 2 years. After the wheelchair, I went on crutches. After crutches, went on crutch. Then I realized that I was bending to one side, and I needed the Alexander technique to get my posture right. And my muscles were wasting away. So there were things that in those days not a lot of people knew in England. And when I saw you, I was overjoyed, because it just took me back to 20 years ago. And then to think that there are people who are doing this thing with a lot of love and passion, just like you. So thank you very much. And I wish I had you in my life then. But here you are today.
Well, I mean, You are totally amazing. I mean, that is just quite the story. I really did not even know most of it at all when I asked you to do this interview. I mean, it's just, so you were raising your two children plus
Three
three
stepchildren, then with my
stepchildren.
one, and then a fifth child, you know,
Oh,
which was the one that kept me incapacitated for about 4 years. But I had full recovery.
I
So
mean,
you see me, you
you
know,
look so strong, because I've seen you, you
yeah,
know, moving and walking. I mean, you look so strong, and then and very, very healthy. So I mean, to come from such a dark, it sounds like it was a pretty dark place if you were going through depression
yes,
also.
yes.
So that is just so inspiring for someone that may be suffering right now and and feeling hopeless, because that, you know, that's the problem, right? I mean, when someone feels hopeless, that there's nothing, you know, that's, I mean, this is Suicide Prevention Month, right? So I mean, that's when people contemplate things like that, when they feel hopeless. So I am so thankful that you were here to tell your story and say, you know, you can get to the other side. And so,
And you know what? You know what got me to the other side?
no, that's what I was just
Styling.
going to ask you. Thank you, Gloria.
Sorry, go on then.
No,
Ask me.
no, I'm waiting. I want to know.
All right. So, you know, I've always been in fashion, but I realized that I couldn't do a lot of the things like making stuff because I used to make clothes. And also, when the universe displays along with you, also at that time, my darkest moment, I was watching TV because that was all I could do. And I saw this program about, of course, people doing styling. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to go and do styling. So I told my therapist that I was going to go to a college in London for styling. And she kind of thought, how are you going to get there? I don't think so. But the thought that I was going to do styling, it just did something to me, and it propelled me to want to give up my aids. I remember the first time I walked to the front door because I was with my parents and I collapsed on the floor crying. They had to lift me up, but it was tears of joy because I never imagined that I'll be able to walk without any aids. But my mind was looking forward to the course. I knew that if I could get to that course, everything would be okay. It was a 5-week course. I prepared myself mentally for the course, and I hadn't gone for my counseling. But I started the course. The first day into the course, it was difficult for me. And I went through it for about 5 weeks. And I remember going back to my therapist. I was in the waiting room. And when she came out to call for me, so I followed her into her office and she was looking, the name didn't match the person that was in front of her. And I said, that's me, Gloria. And she looked at me, said, what happened to you? I said, I'm okay. I've come to discharge myself. So the putting things together that you see me do, that I learned, that helped me to overcome depression, that's what brings joy to me. And it really helped me. And I've written a book, which is in my link in my bio, which is Style Your Way to Confidence, because styling actually helped me to work on my mindset, to work on everything. I was 120 kilos in weight at the time. I was in a very dark place, but that helped me to come out of it.
So style
Thank
your way
you.
to confidence. That sounds like something we should all kind
Yeah,
of pick up
yeah,
and take a look at for sure.
yeah.
So that is really awesome. Is there something that you want to share with people that are watching this now? Any parting thoughts or things that you want to tell someone that might be in a dark place right now?
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
And you had help out there. You sought help, right? I mean, like, it sounds like you had some therapies and you went to a counselor, and
Yes,
you were doing some therapies, and that probably was
yes.
do you think that you could have done it without the outside help?
No,
Okay.
no, I couldn't.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's pretty important,
Because
right?
what I realize is that family members, right? I remember at a certain point, my family that I loved so much, I was saying with my parents, but they couldn't understand. Because when you're disabled, whether it is in the mind or physical, people talk to you differently.
Oh, interesting.
They forget that the person is still the person, that nothing has changed, that you are disabled and people talk over you. You're still the same person.
Well,
So it
that would
takes,
be hard.
yes. And people are treading on eggshells not to offend you. But you want the confrontation, irrespective of where you are. So that's one thing. I would not have done it without watching TV, getting, being in tune with whatever came up. Like, there's a course going on, or symphysis, pubis dysfunction. I had to tell the doctors that I knew what was wrong with me.
You
They
know
were
what? And
not sure.
sometimes I think we do have to do that. And symphysis
Yes,
pubis dysfunction is
yes,
much more well known now than when you were going through it.
yes,
And it is
yes,
very
yes,
disabling.
yes,
And I have treated women that have had that. And being in a wheelchair and using a walker or crutches is just what you have to do at a certain period.
yes,
But then
yes.
along with some low level type exercises, you can get going in the right direction. But
Yes,
I'll write more about that in the caption for today.
yes,
But
yes.
thank you so much. And I appreciate you. I'm sending you loves and hugs in
Thank
this
you.
virtual time. And you're in Africa right now, right?
Yes, I'm in Africa. And then all the kids, because my husband lives in Lagos. So I came to visit and I got stuck due to COVID, but I'll be heading back home for Christmas.
Okay. All
Yes,
right. Well,
yes.
again, thank you. And I hope to talk to you soon.